today we have exciting conversations lined up as we delve into how Dream Sports is catalyzing India's transformation into a multi-sports ecosystem. In a country where cricket has long reigned supreme, we know that, we're witnessing a remarkable shift towards a diverse sport culture. And Dream Sports is actually at the heart of this transformation. So joining us today are three distinguished guests. Why are they distinguished? I'll tell you. Because one, we have Vikrant Mudaliar, who's the Chief Marketing Officer at Dream Sports. Secondly, we have Monish Shah, founder and CEO of DreamSetGo. And then we have Yannick Colaco, who's the co-founder of FanCode. These industry leaders will share their insights on how technological advancements, digital engagement, and strategic initiatives, as well as renowned sport partnerships, are driving the growth of various sports beyond cricket. Let's talk about the evolution of India's sporting fandom, so to say. You go first. Talk about how do you think this has evolved? What are the drivers for the same? And more importantly, where does this go from here?
What's heartening to note, and Dream Sports has had a sort of front side seat of the way the sports landscape and fandom has evolved over the last 10 years or so. So one I think is very clearly is the emergence of the non-cricket sports fan. Right. Dream Sports, for example, very often people don't realize this, offers 12 sports, besides just cricket. I'm sure cricket is by far the most popular one. But I think this uptake and this appetite for non-cricket sports is a healthy sign of the whole sports fandom ecosystem. You can be a sports fan in this country without being a cricket fan. Yeah, right. There are multiple sports that you can follow. I think India doing well at the global level or even at the Asian level has meant that that kind of fan following for other sports has also evolved. The second, I think, landmark shift that has happened over the last decade is what one can probably refer to as the emergence of this digital sports fan. Right. So much of sports consumption, sports content consumption is now happening digitally. Again, Dream11 and is a fantasy sports app and is completely digital. Our 220 million users consume and engage with the app only on digital. There's a lot which has happened in the ecosystem which has benefited not just sports fans but also other industries, whether it's fintech or e-commerce. This could be the mobile handset penetration in the country, cheap subscription data plans, the ease of doing financial transactions. A lot of that has meant that so much of sports content right now is being consumed online. And I think it would be unfair to say that the current modern digital sports fan in India actually is a digital sports fan. So that's the other bit that, at DreamSport also we have noticed happen over the years.
Let's ask Yannick about, the long tail sports that we have beyond cricket. So if you look at India, there would be cricket at the peak, and there's a very long tail of all the other sports that he spoke about, be it, the Indian sports or be it Bharat sports or some international sports as well. Right. How has that evolution come about as per what you've seen in FanCode?
So I think one of the key things that you look at in India over the last decade or so is that young India has very clearly built a very strong affiliation to sport. So you see a lot of young kids today playing sport and following sport across various formats, right? Whether it is obviously cricket is the most popular sport, but there are a whole lot of other sports with football, motor racing, kabaddi, volleyball, hockey, which have got a tremendous amount of following. And the reality is that for any sport to grow, what is really important is access and engagement.
Right.
Access is something which is critical. If you actually think about how a young fan gets exposed to a sport and he actually becomes a fan, its first thing is the ability to watch the game live.
Right.
Watch these stories of competition, winning, losing, this athletic kind of endeavor, which they've never seen before. Watch that live and be able to then build some affiliation to it. So access to that live sports content is something we actually set up FanCode to solve. Because while obviously the big cricket events got a lot of exposure and everyone had access to, most other sport didn't have great access, sports fans didn't have great access to it in India. So as we kind of build FanCode, we've now done we have over 20,000 live matches across 10 sports. We continue to provide more access of this to sports fans across the country, across various sports, from kabaddi, which is more popular in tier 2 and tier 3 towns, to like motorsport, and Formula 1, which has 60 million fans across the country. Providing that access is essentially what's going to help build the sports ecosystem in this country. And when you look at the contribution both from an access and engagement perspective, that's where we as a group, Dream Sports, comes together, which is access on FanCode, engagement through fantasy sport. How do you actually build that fan profile across the sport and build engagement around it?
We speak to a lot of these tourism companies, and they're saying that in India, two kinds of tourism are now picking up. One is spiritual tourism, the other one is sports tourism. We saw that in the Cricket World Cup, but we are also seeing an increasing number of people attending sports events beyond cricket, not just in India, but in the entire world as well. What do you think have been the key factors driving this? And secondly, how big is this mass of people who are traveling? At what rate is it growing?
I mean, if you're looking at outbound tourism on an annual basis is growing at around 10% CAGR.
Right.
Sports tourism is growing at 17.5% CAGR,
Wow.
which means there's a huge demand. It's growing at a much faster pace. As the millennials and the number of millennials within the country is increasing, they're wanting experiences over ownership. And we've seen that post-COVID. We've seen huge demand for young families wanting to have experiences to travel to international locations to watch sporting events live and then have a sport experience which goes beyond the game as well. So there's a huge growing demand for families, corporates, groups to want experiences which is like watch the first team train, go pitch side, meet and greet with legends, getting a private tour of the stadium with a legend.
Wow.
Experiences otherwise which were categorized as money can't buy experiences and previously seen as probably a one-off experience that only the ultra HNI used to get. But now we're seeing an increasing demand from all sets of our target audiences wanting to go beyond the game.
How is Dream Sports integrating this entire experience and taking, sport beyond cricket, growing it across the country?
Yeah. So actually, Dream Sports is in a very unique position in the sense that we have a very synergistic, symbiotic relationship with sport. Dream Sports' vision is to make sports better. What's good for sports is good for Dream Sports in general. So I think it comes with that little bit of onus and responsibility to look beyond your own business model and your individual businesses to see what more can we do to try and improve the status of the sports ecosystem in the country. So for the sports fan, if you are interested in fantasy sports, there's Dream11.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're turning passive sports fans into active sports fans. If you want to watch or consume, a lot of the sports content that, Yannick was talking about, then there's FanCode.
Right.
Yeah. If you are a fan and want to display your fandom by buying official merchandise, well, then there's FanCode Shop.
Right.
And if you want to actually experience it and go in and watch it, a game or a match in a stadium, DreamSetGo will play that role. And if you want to play a mobile game or a sports mobile game, a Dream Game Studios probably will have an answer for you.
Today's discussion revealed Dream Sports' transformative role in broadening India's sports landscape. Our guests highlighted how technology and digital engagement are expanding fan base, especially in Tier 2 and beyond cities, fostering a deeper connection with various sports beyond cricket. The focus on sports tourism and community upliftment shows a commitment to inclusive growth and nurturing local talent. Thank you to our guests for their insights and our audience for joining in this enlightening conversation. We look forward to seeing how these initiatives continue to shape India's evolving sports ecosystem.